Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 90. Got Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, and a good duo tonight. No Fresh West apparently. Maybe it's because he's he's winning too much. He can't show up for the podcast anymore.
Well, I'm kind of thinking he watches the show after and then gives his picks so he knows like the good insight of what to take.
He's trying to get the inside track on us so he can
Yeah.
win. I don't know.
Kind of feel like that. It's like he gets he does it a few days later, so he gets injury reports too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit that is helpful, We're early in the week, but it's all right. Well, if you guys are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Thanks for listening. If you watch on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like. Appreciate all the watches and the listens, uh, especially Spotify. If you want to make some comments on there, getting a lot of listens on there, definitely open up the questionnaires. Open up, so feel free to leave any comments in that one as well. All right. Well, what a week. So we got a lot to talk about this week, a lot to talk about last week. Um, let's just jump right into this college football thing. I mean, first of all, championship week last week, right? So all the conference championships. Uh, there was a couple surprise games, but there's those games could have went either way. It's like we talked a little bit about Georgia, Alabama, and it's like Georgia hasn't been looking great all year. They're looking a little better later, but Alabama's coming on strong. I don't think that was as big a surprise to me as Oregon playing as badly as they did against Washington. That
And
one,
then turning it on later.
yeah. But just that game didn't go like I thought that game would go. Where the Alabama Georgia game, I wasn't super surprised in that game, especially watching the game and how the game played out. There's Wes. Good. And so I think the big shocker there was, how flat Oregon played. Yeah, they turned it on later and they had a chance, but just the fact that they didn't look like they've been how they've been playing for the last 5 weeks. It's something about them, the way they played Washington the first time, same thing happened. So that to me was more of a surprise than Alabama Georgia game.
Right. It's like they just looked at the spread and were like, "Oh, well, we're gonna steamroll Washington, take them seriously." And then Washington came out and punched them in the mouth, and then they're like, "Oh shoot."
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb. You're in the Pac-12 championship game. You should have been ready to go.
Yeah, and Washington ran the ball a lot, the running back had almost like 150 yards, a lot of it right up the middle. I mean, they just kind of controlled and dominated that game. So that was a big surprise. Obviously, Oklahoma State, Texas, kind of knew Texas would win that game pretty easily. Alabama, Georgia. I thought Georgia would win, obviously, because, that's who I picked to win, but there was no doubt that Alabama could win that game. And then Michigan did what, pretty much expected with that game outcome. And then Florida State, obviously, without their quarterback, didn't look great. They still won the game.
With their third string quarterback, because their second string was out with a concussion.
Yeah. So, that's how kind of the games went. Any surprises there? I mean, when you talk about actual games, championship week.
You forgot to mention Boise State winning the Mountain West
Yeah, I
after
mean that's
firing their coach halfway through the season.
super important, right? This is
Hey,
a big game. And Liberty, of course, Liberty winning, getting in the top 25 and getting to go to the Fiesta Bowl.
right.
So that's where we're at there. So all the games obviously they were good games. It's a good, great weekend for college football. And then the next day, we get into this playoff. So uh I don't know if I've seen a bunch of different articles, list a bunch of different podcasts and just blurbs and people writing about it and watching it on different ESPN or sportscasters. So, we get Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Texas. Well, I guess we got to start with Florida State. I mean, how does Florida State go undefeated, win the ACC conference championship, and not get into the playoff?
And that's the issue too. You know what's like all those great movies, it's always this underdog who overcomes. But no, this one we got somebody saying, "Oh, you went undefeated in the Power 5 conference, but we're not even going to give you the chance to have some kind of miraculous story." It's kind of BS. I mean, like, what was it the coach said? It's like, why do we even play these games?
Yeah.
What's the point? I mean, if you have a Power 5 go undefeated and they're going to be like, no, we still need an SEC team in here. And since we want this SEC team in here, we're going to put Texas in because they beat this team.
I mean, that's kind of what it looks like as far as why they put the two teams in there. And then, I mean, Wes, welcome to the podcast. A little late, but better late than never. What are your thoughts on Florida State?
Uh, I mean, they're 13-0, and Derek's. It's one thing to say, yeah, you don't even have the chance to out of 4 teams, you can't make it in the top 4. It's kind of ridiculous. Someone said that the reason why there's a player availability or coach availability thing when they're deciding the playoff, and that's, I guess, because Travis is not playing, so it kind of kicks in there. But still, 13-0, it's kind of hard to leave them out of the top 5 or top 4.
Well, is that a good argument? I mean, what do you guys think? Is it, I mean, it's legitimate to say Travis is hurt, right? I mean, that's not a legitimate thing. They obviously don't play as well with their second or third string quarterback.
But it's almost like what? They get like 3 weeks to prepare.
Right.
It's not like they have to play next week and they're like, oh, we're throwing in our freshman quarterback who hasn't had any time to practice or do anything.
That's kind of what happened. Is they're breaking in the, isn't he a freshman? Or the freshman third string quarterback for a game, right, and you have no time to prepare. That means, yeah, you have about a month to get anybody who's going to play, who hasn't played, get them on, you think that thinking would have factored in too. It's just hard to sit there and say that, oh, someone who goes 13-0 in a Power 5, even though the ACC is down, it doesn't really matter. It's even though it sucks for Alabama, it would have sucked if they didn't make it, or Texas, because I think Texas would have probably been the team to be like, you know what? No, we can't just sit there and not have Florida State. You're in the Big 12. You lost once. Too bad.
Well, I know, that's the thing. It's like everybody talks. Why not just leave Alabama out?
Why not leave out Texas? I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, even though it's hard to leave Alabama out because they beat Georgia. Who did Texas beat? They beat Oklahoma State.
Alabama.
But then they beat Alabama.
But again, that's earlier in the year.
Yeah. No, and that. So I heard that people talking about that as well. That they feel like the later year games are weighted more. They should be weighted more later in the season than earlier in the season. Which I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but I can see how that would make a difference going into the playoff. Right? You see who's playing better or beating better teams late. Um, but the thing is, Alabama was ranked 8th. I get it; they beat number 1 Georgia,
But yeah, they,
but now you're asking them to jump 4 teams, to make that top 4, and one of those teams is undefeated.
right. How do you go from, and this is the problem that I have is, don't put Florida State in the top 4 then. If you weren't going to pick them,
Right.
I mean, how do you make them who win their game, right? They win the ACC championship, and you move them down.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
they're
because
they're saying that they didn't play that well against Louisville,
but they
still,
why didn't they move them down when they played Florida?
boy,
They kept them in the top
yeah.
4.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, that's the thing.
One of the better arguments that I heard for Florida State, and it wasn't necessarily an argument, it was just kind of a talking about why Florida State deserved to be in. And I think, when you talk about player availability, yeah, I get it, their quarterback's out, but I like when they're talking about Florida State's defense is a real top ranked defense. As far as like NFL prospects, they have some of the most NFL prospects on their defense. So why not give their defense a chance to go win a national title?
Right.
That was one of the best arguments I think I heard was forget about, not having a quarterback, forget about, all of that. Say you got one of the better defenses out there, and anybody knows a defense can dominate a game and can win a game.
Right.
So why not let their defense go out there and try it?
Yeah. One of the worst arguments I've heard is, oh, well, everyone's scared because of what the TCU making it last year and then getting blown out. Yeah, but guess what? They beat Michigan.
Right.
They didn't get blown out in the first game. They got blown out in the championship game. So you can't even use that because you should have been like, well, why was Michigan in when they lost to a team that got crushed? Right. So stop using the argument of TCU because they made it to the championship game. That's like the opposite argument you want to use because it should be like, oh, Florida State has a chance to make it to the championship game.
Okay, so let's say, I mean, obviously, I don't argue the top 2, right? I think given their resumes, who they beat, their records, you got to have Michigan number 1 and Washington number 2. So who's your 3 and 4 then?
I would go Florida State. This is where it's tough. I would go Florida State and then Alabama.
What about US?
Yeah, I agree.
Florida State, Alabama. Yeah, I think the Alabama win, it matters, right? Because it is the SEC championship. I hate to keep using the SEC as a crutch, but it is a good conference, right? It's a strong conference. And to beat number 1 Georgia in that winning streak, win the SEC championship, and they're playing well, right? So now you're a Texas fan, or you go to you're Texas's coach. Now what's your argument? Your argument is, hey, we beat Alabama. How do you put them in?
Precedence has been set with Florida State already in this. Florida State lost to Notre Dame and still won the national championship with the same record as Notre Dame.
Right.
So how do you give a team a national championship?
Yeah, exactly. Because what happened was Notre Dame beats Florida State, and then Notre Dame goes and plays at home against Boston College and choke.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Loses that game. So what you're saying also is just because Texas beat Alabama, who did Texas lose to later in the season? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, now you say, well, Oklahoma, right? But at that time, Oklahoma was definitely ranked high. So it's not like, and it wasn't like it was a blowout. It was the end of came down to the last drive. But I mean, that's the tough part, right? Is when you get into this, So let's talk about the playoff for a second too, because I was looking at the 12-team playoff. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Because you give the first four a bye, right? And then you got the 5 through 12 playing in a first round, which basically are all the teams playing in the conference championships,
Yeah.
you know, and then they have to play again, and then the other teams get a bye. You're getting it's 3 more games they have to play.
Right. I bet you in that scenario, though, Florida State gets a bye.
Oh, if it's you think if it's a 12-team scenario, yeah. Well, because they don't have to make a choice and leave someone out.
Yeah.
But regardless, you think about this, how many more games, and I get it now, they got NIL money and they're getting paid to play, stuff like that, but not all of them, you know. A lot of these kids are still going to be,
But
not going to the NFL.
this is what the FCS has done forever.
Right.
So why not? I mean, if the FCS does it every year and they don't get any money.
But I'm just saying, why not just make it an 8-team playoff?
Because those 4 teams.
Well, because then it's just, you just got the round of 8, the round of 4, and the final, right? I mean, so it's like now you're throwing in that extra game for these extra 4 teams between 9 and 12.
Well, I would think because that would be the like at large. Because if you look at it, okay, you've got Georgia, Alabama, right? Oregon, Washington, right? Michigan, not this year, but it would be like who could have gone to Michigan, Iowa? Because that would mean because Ohio State didn't make it to the championship game, you would still want them as an at large.
Right.
And
No, I mean, you're not saying you're taking the conference champs because Michigan or Ohio or Iowa wouldn't have gone anyway.
right. But here's the other thing. So tell me this. So if I'm like Iowa, right? And I've got 2 losses. I don't know what they had more than that, but and they go into this championship game and they're like, we're ranked 10 right now. If we lose to Michigan in this championship game, we're out of the top 12. Well, what makes them say, why should we play this game? Because Ohio State would be in, even though they didn't play that game.
Yeah. Well, so you're saying get rid of the championship game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have to because there's no reward for going to it and losing, right? Like, let's say, like,
Right. You're just dropping in spots.
yeah. Like, let's say, like Oregon State. Let's say they would have won a game against Oregon or Washington, right? And they would have gone, or Arizona, you know what I mean? With 2 losses, they go to the championship game, and then they lose, they'd have 3 losses and they're out.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to play in a neutral site, right? In 1 week, like Iowa, Michigan, in a neutral site, and the next week, someone's playing at someone else's stadium. It doesn't make any sense. Because the team when they play that first week is going to be the team with the better record is going to play at home that first week. So
Yeah, I mean, so I guess the point is why have conference championships then?
yeah,
because yeah, like let's just also like an undefeated like Georgia, right? They're the number 1 seed right now. They play Alabama, they lose, they get out, they don't get a bye. Well, what is their like motivation for playing in that game? Because they would have had a bye
if they didn't play in the championship, right?
I think the answer to that question is pretty. When you think about it, it's all about money.
Oh, I know,
because that's what it's all about now, and it means even more now because you have NIL. Now you have this ruling today about schools being able just to pay the players directly. You gotta have the money to do it. You gotta have these games. You gotta have, even though it seems stupid to have Iowa and Michigan playing in some neutral site, it's a lot of money, a lot of TV money. More games they play, it's more money, and that's the thing here. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes it like what I think to what Derek's saying, and I kind of agree with it, as we're talking through that, is that it makes that game very irrelevant for a lot of the teams playing the game. You get it, the schools want them to play the game,
Yeah, they
right?
want
Because they're going to get more money, and the
more
TVs want
money.
to play in the game. But like why would Georgia want to play? Why would Iowa want to play in that game to where and get themselves potentially out of the playoff?
Here's the thing: you're at the mercy now. See, everyone's like talking about, oh, NIL players getting people. Everyone's pissed off about players getting paid and all this crap. All right, that's fine, but guess what? You're also at the mercy now. You know, it's like, why does Florida State play? They went 13-0. Why didn't they even play the games? You know why they play? It's called money.
Yeah, you're getting paid to play
That's the number one reason. It's not about trophies. It's about money. And it's a harsh, and it's not fair. It's a harsh reality, but that's what everyone's signed up for now.
So potentially, let's say you get into the 12th spot, or the bottom 8, and you already played 13 games, and you run to you go all the way. You could play 16 games.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the FCS does.
Yeah, that's an NFL season.
It's an NFL.
Not anymore, Steve.
Yeah, 17 now, right? But yeah, that's a lot of games and maybe that's how they fill December. December always seems kind of empty for the first couple weeks.
Well, that's the thing too. There is that gap.
Yeah.
And before the gap was there, you know what? We can't do it because kids got finals.
Right.
Well, do you think they care anymore? That went out the window. Like
well,
and we're all saying this for years. Why don't they play the playoff? Because they finish in late November, right, and you have this huge gap until you got bowl season like Christmas. It was because of academics. Now they don't care.
Well, here's the thing. Also, COVID helped that out because everything's online now.
Yeah.
So they can be, okay, let's go. We're going to be traveling to Florida, but here, let's go into this room and you got to take your online finals first here in Florida.
Yeah,
they have to be on campus to do it.
Well, and then, if you guys remember when they didn't have all the early bowl games either, right? Now they start bowl games way earlier than they used to.
Oh yeah, the 16th is going to be the first bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be, there was a bigger gap, so they already pushed that back over the years.
I mean, you had more games on New Year's Day and New Year's. Now they've spread them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I remember, it's like the Holiday Bowl is now like the 23rd or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they got that push now before Christmas. I mean, on the 16th, 17th, you have like 8 bowl games. I mean, you have more bowl games there than on New Year's Day now.
Well, that's what's great. Yeah, you look at it, it's like, of course, you got the playoff games, right? But you've got, and the Fiesta Bowl. It's kind of funny. Is like, so now you're Florida State. So not only did you not get in the playoffs, but then you didn't even get a January 1 bowl. And then Liberty did.
Well,
so Liberty gets to play
weird.
on January 1st.
That is kind of weird. Well, they got a weekend game, I guess, but still.
I mean, it's not like they didn't get a good bowl. I'm just saying, because there used to be anyway. There's this big thing about playing on January 1st, right? Everybody's watching. That's when all the big bowl games used to happen. People aren't working. That's a football day.
It was a rite of passage. Remember, Steve, going out all night,
New
Year's Eve, and then waking up at like 7 a.m.
You gotta get up and go.
Just like some of these college teams used to do. Like, oh shoot, we're gonna go out and party and get up because we play in the Orange Bowl because it's the last game. We're just gonna get blitzed and go out there and play.
But I mean, that's when I saw that, it was funny to me. I was like, that's like a double slap in the face for Florida State. Like, you still get a good bowl, but still, it's like, man, now you don't even get to play in a January 1st bowl.
And they sign up to play Georgia too. And someone told me that they said, how many Georgia players that are going in the NFL, how many are going to play in that game?
Well, that's
And
the
it is a
problem.
legitimate question. Like, you just don't
Yeah.
know.
There's going to be quite a few players that aren't going to play
Yeah.
in their bowl games.
And then one of the Florida State defensive ends, he entered the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Because of no money. He was like, they weren't paying me enough.
Yeah.
So I'm a free agent.
Well, yeah, let's get into transfer portal here while we're finishing up
Well,
college.
I got one little trivia first.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
It's pretty easy one. Since 2005, there's only been four. What is it? Four? Yeah, four teams that weren't SEC to win a national championship. Who were those four teams?
Clemson.
Wait, back. What is it again?
2005.
There's only been four teams.
Four teams that weren't the SEC team.
And that this is
I can
DCS because it was Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Clemson, Texas.
Florida State, Clemson. I'm getting there. Ohio State.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah, Ohio State.
Clemson twice, Florida State, and Ohio State back-to-back years.
Yeah.
And Texas 2005.
Yeah, they were that was first.
Because, yeah, I went Florida, LSU, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, Alabama. Then non-SEC for 2 years, Alabama, Clemson, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Georgia.
Dude, Alabama, man.
Well, and that comes to now the college football playoff. Most playoff wins by a team.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Alabama.
Yep, with 9. Most playoff championships.
Alabama.
With 3. Conference with the most appearances.
SEC, yeah.
Yeah, with 10. And then conference with the most championships was SEC with 6. Pretty much every answer was the SEC.
Right.
Most playoff appearances, playoff everything for the college football playoff. So since the 2014 is when it started. Yeah, it's been dominated.
That's hard to argue, again, SEC isn't we don't perceive them as being as strong as they normally are this year, but that doesn't mean they're not,
It seems like they're just not as strong as they were. I mean, that's another little argument for Florida State too. It's like, it is something when you sit there and say, hey, we went undefeated in the ACC. Everyone says that our conference wasn't that strong, but look at the SEC. I mean, Carson Beck and the Georgia offense, they really were exposed. I know Alabama's defense is great, but they just did not look like a top 5 team at all. And Alabama still only lost by 3 and won by 3.
Right. Well,
and like I said, to me it's a coin flip. There's an argument for either side. The only thing is one team went 13-0 and the other team had 1 loss.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that should hold some precedence in making those decisions.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what I'd say? Hey, you're the defending national champions. You're playing the defending national champions who've only lost 1 game in 30 games. Let's say you just clean their clocks with a 3rd string or 2nd string quarterback, and maybe Alabama or Texas wins the whole thing. Why not share the title?
Well,
you give them the trophy, but you can sit there and say there's a co-national champion.
The AP has still a vote. So the AP could say, well, Florida State crushed Georgia. They should have been in the college football playoff. We'll give them the national championship.
Yeah. Why not? Not if Washington or Michigan, because they're undefeated. But they cleaned Georgia's clock. Alabama won by 3. Let's say they beat them by 20, right? And make a statement. Give them part of it and stop all this, every day it's all they're talking about.
There are going to be so many people not playing in these bowl games.
Yeah. You can't even tell.
It really ruins it for, any type of outcomes, and you say, well, because this person didn't play or these guys didn't play,
Because what if like 8 or 9 Georgia players don't
that's
play?
what I'm saying. That they're going to do that.
Yeah.
That's going to be the excuse, and it's
Yeah.
that's the problem with not
But
playing.
Bo Nix is playing.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think he
he's gonna
is.
play.
No, he is. He's playing. They already said he's playing.
You better play. You don't want to mess
Yeah.
with Liberty, man. They're the Flames. Can't mess with the
Now,
Flames.
Kyle McCord's not playing because he's in the transfer
Right.
portal.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, so transfer portal is out of. So you do okay. There's 1,000 people,
1,000.
1,000 people that enter
90
transfer portal.
quarterbacks. Like
Yeah,
89 quarterbacks.
yeah, and from some big schools and some big quarterback names too. It's not like they're all small schools.
Yeah.
There's some of the top quarterbacks out there, or quarterbacks on top teams that have entered.
Yeah, look at Washington State. Like they lose Ward. Then DJ leaves Oregon State. They're like,
Mhm.
screw this. We're not dealing with this whole Pac-10 fiasco. And DJ would rather go to Louisville or, it's just
Florida State.
Yeah, Ward's going to Florida State, I think.
Ward is going to Florida State. No.
I think that'd be the best fit for him.
Did you guys
Or he might just go in the draft. He hasn't made up his decision yet.
Right.
Yeah, because you go on the site and they have where they're leaning or
Right.
what they think.
Well, they have
Was it-
schools that are offering them now because of NIL money. And so they're basically now, once they enter their transfer portal, they get offers from schools.
Yeah, because it said Dylan Gabriel's at Oregon right now.
Oregon, yeah.
Visiting. I've heard like Dante Moore to Ohio State.
You know what also is interesting about this transfer portal? You've got now the graduate transfers.
Mm-hmm.
So they graduate their school and then they transfer to another school just to play football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been doing that that's been before nil, actually, though.
Yeah. But now it's like super popular.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's people that have 7 years eligibility now.
Yeah.
Dude, why didn't we I'm sitting there, lost my eligibility when I was 24. Now these guys are playing with like 30. It's like necessary roughness, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Freaking Scott Bakula's coming out.
Scott Bakula.
Dude,
you have a bunch
you
of
could
those
probably
guys.
just sue the NCAA
Hartman.
for
Sam
eligibility.
Hartman.
You can sue them for everything else now. I mean, you sue them for your eligibility back.
It's so stupid.
It's like, I want my eligibility back so I could be in NCAA college football 2024. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got all this identity stuff, all this identity. Tell me there's not going to be a player who's like 35. I want to play.
Right.
It's going to happen.
I'm 35, but I identify as 21. Eligibility.
Dude, that you could totally pull that off. You pull that out on the judge?
Dude, no, dude, I could pull off 35. Come on, guys.
No, I'm saying the none of us can pull off 35, first of all. None of us are pulling off 35, but I'm just saying you could pull that on the judge.
Yeah.
Because with this day and age, man, that's gonna hold a lot of weight when you're like, hey man, I identify this way. Yeah, and so now with the NIL money too added into this, now it's just going to be, this is just the beginning of transfers, right? It's going to start getting to where people are just going to be rotating school to school to school.
We're already seeing that. What DJ, right? He's going to his
Right.
third school. Yeah, they've already started doing that where they're like, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here. Oh, I don't like it here, so I'm going to go here.
Well, and the agents don't get rights for these guys for NFL either. So if you're an agent and you're setting them up with NIL stuff, you don't get their NFL rights either. So they're so you can just basically switch agents, switch schools, and just go wherever the money's at that given time. And then I was reading about the NIL committees. So there are these committees that the school sets up, and it's basically like that's their salary cap, It's like that's the salary the school has, and this committee like runs it to bring people in and make those offers. And then they just it's like they're just basically saying it's okay for boosters now. Like you just gotta just not say, and they might change this, like Wes was saying, is direct pay. The only thing you can not do is just offer them direct pay. It has to be for some business reason or
Right.
a promotion, or they got to speak somewhere or whatever.
They're
Right.
trying to get the schools involved so you don't have so much of the outside stuff. But there's also each state has their own state. They have their own laws.
Yeah, they're
They're not
similar.
laws. You know what they are? They're guidelines.
Yeah.
They're not enforced. It's ridiculous.
It's always been guidelines, just the same as like, oh, we're just, we don't like SMU, so we'll give them the death penalty, but Texas can still do it.
Right.
You gave him the death penalty again. They didn't give him the Fiesta Bowl, man. They lost by one spot to Liberty.
Dude.
That's so funny.
So that's interesting is because remember, like back in the day, it was like, oh, boosters, paying people to play. And now it's like now the boosters are the ones setting up these NIL committees.
Yeah.
And like Wes is saying, they're guidelines because you don't say, hey, I'm going to pay you $1 million to play here. You say, we're going to pay you $1 million to show up at this photo shoot.
Well,
so what's the difference?
What you just said before was them jumping schools. Soon, you know what it's going to evolve into is contracts.
Right.
If you come to this school, you need to stay here for X amount of years. You can't transfer.
Well, I don't understand. Like, you already have this. Why not just go to direct pay? Why not get the schools more involved and have, contracts and have like just pay them, right? Hey, you come here, you're going to be on a 4-year contract.
Yeah, because they're going to have their own. They're proposing having the schools having like it's almost like their own department. It's almost like their own department within the school.
There you go.
And going to pay the players.
Yeah, right. Why not? And then they can still get their advertising money. They can still go do all their other things under that contract and under that school name.
Yeah. And the school gets a cut because that's the most important thing to them because they're going to get a cut too. So it's not like they're making enough money. They're,
Yeah, it's just real weird. Like when you go and you read all the details and then you're looking at all these transfers and now you got to figure out like how hard is it to like put together a team and get ready and build your team for next year and your game plans and like you never even know who your players are going to be anymore.
No.
Well, they're transferring before the season's even over.
I mean,
screw the bowl game. Like we want to, like Kyle.
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord, like, where are you going to transfer to, dude? Like, you're playing at Ohio State.
Right.
Next year, they're going to reload and have the best receivers in college football. Where are you going to transfer to? You're not that good.
No.
It's not like you're this. Everyone's after Kyle McCord here. They're after Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, I think what it is Kyle McCord realized they're bringing somebody in.
Yeah.
So
I'm Kyle McCord. That's what he realized.
Yeah, he realized I'm Kyle McCord.
They're bringing in some NFL player's son, right?
Yeah.
It's happening. Some junior.
Yeah.
They're bringing in junior.
He said when they asked him about transfer, he said he felt like he was under the gun or under scrutiny too much.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. Too.
But you're quarterback of Ohio State, dude. You're gonna be under scrutiny, dude. Like,
but
yeah, that's why Burrow left, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
pressure.
Joe Burrow left Ohio State, so you can leave Ohio State to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and he goes to LSU and wins the national champion the same year, basically.
Well, think about it. Jameson Williams left Ohio State, right?
But I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say Kyle McCord's not winning a national championship.
What if he goes to Florida State next year?
Oh man,
You
I just don't
Florida
think
State.
he's capable.
Everyone will be talking about it. Florida State's going to win the title next year, right? And they'll
Yeah.
be redeemed. It'll be
I
the
don't know. They're going to lose a lot of players, especially on their defense. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
They're not going to be able to reload
It's going to be tough
unless
for
they
them.
get Deion Sanders.
This was really their year. Like it really kind of sucks for Florida State because it
Yeah.
was their year,
It
and they
was,
went
yeah.
undefeated. Like it's like this all came together for them this year.
They had the skill guys. They look like the old Florida State.
Yeah.
It's like Peter Warwick, Florida State. They're just loaded.
That's brutal.
Charlie Ward at quarterback,
Well, I mean, we'll keep our eye on this transfer portal, see what happens.
The commercial's funny though, the portal, when they get sucked in the portal.
Right.
Caleb gets sucked in the portal. Like, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's also the amount of money that they're getting now is kind of crazy too, because it's incentivizing them to not go to the NFL almost in some cases.
Well, I heard actually that Marvin Harrison Jr. is thinking about staying.
Right. Well, because you're going to make like $7 million in NIL money.
And he doesn't want to go to a crappy team. So.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well,
he
it doesn't matter.
Go to the Bears.
You're going to go to a crappy team no matter what.
He doesn't want to go to the Bears, dude.
It'd be the Cardinals or the Patriots. Dude, if you're Marvin Harrison Jr., you're like, I'm not going to the Patriots.
No, we're going to go to the Patriots.
No,
like, Patriots why? So Mac Jones can like throw you the ball and can't get it there? Like
it's Bailey Zappi.
He's like Marvin Harrison. Can I just throw it to myself?
Yeah, that's but yeah, it is like Caleb Williams, for example, he doesn't have to go either.
Yeah, he's not gonna play in the Holiday Bowl. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna come back next year. I just don't want to play in the Holiday Bowl.
But that's
the thing, really, does he really want to play in the Holiday Bowl?
Well, he's sitting out so he can get more nil money.
Right. These guys are making some of them almost as much as they would on their top 5 rookie contracts.
He's probably saying, I got a couple commercials that week. I don't really feel like playing. I got to save my energy.
I got to go me down to
my Buffalo Wild Wings commercials with the Sanders boys,
It's ridiculous. This whole conversation. I mean, the only thing, you know what we should be talking about is how can we start a committee? Come on.
Yeah.
If these guys are starting committees, dude, we are missing the boat big time.
You just need to be an agent is what you need to be. Go be an NIL agent for these college kids.
I'm looking at
you get like 10% commission, dude.
Yeah. DJ left though. DJ was like my target. I was like, you can't leave. I got the perfect ad for you, DJ.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, that's a lot of college football. Let's switch gears here. Talk a little bit NFL. Last week, Wes led the way again, 8-5. My gambles didn't pay off. I still finished 7-6.
Derek did win the Niners
as well.
I felt like an idiot for picking the Eagles.
I picked the Eagles too.
Yeah. That was a misfire.
That wasn't a game. I had San Francisco legitimately. I wasn't picking them just because you guys picked Philadelphia, but
they just carved.
There was like the New Orleans game. Like I knew I knew you guys were going to pick Detroit, so I went with New Orleans to try to pick up a game.
Anytime Derek Carr's playing now, I'm going to pick the other team.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I can't believe.
Oh man, I mean, but that game. New Orleans goes up down 21-0 in 7 minutes into the game. Yeah. So it was the fastest a team scored 21 points in the NFL for like last 20 years or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. It was like 2004 or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I thought the Giants or the Cowboys against the Giants would have already done that this year.
Yeah, you would think, right? Well, you get 3 touchdowns in 7 minutes of gameplay. That's pretty quick. Let's see who else. The Jets game, that I don't know what was worse, the Jets in Atlanta or the Patriots and the Chargers.
No, it has to be the Patriots, the Chargers. Even though, of course, I have Bijan Robinson, and I've never seen a worse run out of the end zone in my life. I mean, Bijan tries to run out of the end zone. He runs into somebody like 7 yards behind the goal line and gets a safety. I'm like, oh, there's my running back. That's going to tell you how things are going to go for me this week in fantasy. It was hideous, yeah.
Dude, the Jets, though, man, they are bad.
Dude,
They released Boyle.
They released Boyle already.
Yeah,
he's like gone. And now Aaron Rodgers is mad because the Jets are throwing Zach Wilson under the bus. Like he's defending Zach Wilson.
I know, I heard him.
It's like, what a circuit.
Well,
aren't you glad you left the Packers who just beat up on the Chiefs and to go play for the Jets?
Right.
That's kind of looking stupid.
well, the funny thing is yeah, because they're talking like, oh, they're going to go back to Zach Wilson, and he's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, he's like, thanks anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to school and get paid like $5 million at like BYU.
Right.
Yeah, go back to school.
But the Patriots Chargers game.
Dude, that was hideous.
I mean, I know last week, Derek, you said Denver couldn't beat the Chargers twice, but did you watch any of that game? Dude, the Chargers looked so bad.
Yeah, but have you seen? Did I send you the stats of the Patriots?
Oh yeah, well they're defensively. If you look at their overall defense, they're up there.
Yeah, they've been the best defense in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, they're top 10 as far as like yardage and stuff and giving up on defense, but the Bears are too.
Well, no, they weren't giving up any points.
Yeah.
They already deleted. Well, yeah. Well, the one here, the last 3 games, first team since 1938 to lose 3 straight games, when allowing fewer than 10 points in each game. They lost to the Colts 10-6, lost to the Giants 10-7, and then the Chargers 6-0. So,
Yeah.
Like since 1928, back when they used
1938.
Yeah. You know what I thought, and I was gonna say something to Derek because he said something about the game. Hey, you know Staley's gonna hang his hat on this game. He's like, look, man, I could coach. I could, I'm a defense coordinator. Look at this game. I shut down the Patriots. I shut them out. Like his defense finally plays good after like all these years, but against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Shuts out the Patriots.
Yeah, it's just recently though for them that they haven't been giving up a lot of points, and they're playing the Giants and the Chargers and the Colts. Colts aren't bad, but the Giants are real bad.
Yeah. Well, not really. Have you looked at Tommy DeVito's numbers?
Oh, yeah.
In the last like 3 or 4 games, he has the same numbers as Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns in one game. I don't know what he didn't have much.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns. I mean, all they're doing though is like working themselves out of a better draft pick.
No,
but they're still 4-8.
They're going with TD, man. They're going with TD. He's not even Tommy. He got his name back. Now we're just gonna abbreviate it more. He's TD. They got TD
down Tommy
under draft.
But outside of that, let's see, the Indy Tennessee game, that was
ridiculous.
Uncle Rico
does it again.
I
couldn't believe it because time was winding down at the end of the overtime. I'm like, they don't have enough time, and he hit a deep pass.
Oh yeah,
inside the 5, and it was like done.
But then, of course, the Dallas-Seattle game, like, I don't know what happened to Dallas there.
Dude, I was sweating bullets because I was going up against Geno Smith. And I'm like, really? Dallas, you're going to let Geno Smith tear you up like this?
Yeah.
Wes got negative points for that game.
They figured out the formula finally. Let's throw it to that DK Metcalf guy. He's a diesel. Just
Well,
stupid.
I love, because national media and everything. So last week it was all about Deron Bland should be defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So what was the game plan? All they did was throw at him.
Yeah.
Right. No, I don't think pick sixes make you the defensive player of the year.
Well, that's what they said. There was tons of them that were all
Oh, I
like,
know. Well, it's because they don't understand. Like they're just talking about they want the shiny thing, They're a little
Yeah,
fish
it's more
chasing the
of like
shiny thing in the water.
it's not like he's Deion Sanders here. He's playing off the ball. What they said is, we're just going to we're going to put him on an island. We're going to isolate him because we know he's not that good.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. I mean, DK's like a mini Megatron. But he's a beast.
well, who's like him and who's Dallas is playing this week? AJ Brown.
AJ Brown,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very similar.
They are.
DK's huge. He's big, he's fast. If he could catch the ball a little better, if he had a little better hands, he would be unstoppable.
Yeah, he'd be unstoppable.
But he just doesn't have the hands.
That catch radius, it's just he can't make the low ones,
That's because his arms are too big.
He's not
He's like, I can't move.
Yeah, he is. It's like his arm is massive.
Well, hey, he's no Anquan Bolden. Let's not
No.
Oh, wait, no, or
Jamar Chase. Some of those
what was it?
Jamar Chase was making.
Wasn't it like David Boston? Who was the one that had like
David Boston?
Yeah,
he
was just
he was yoked, dude.
Couldn't even get his arms together to.
Yeah. They're like, make a window. Can't, coach.
It's like
I'm too yoked.
I'll just catch it one-handed. Let's see. Arizona Pittsburgh was a pretty big surprise. I know Arizona's been playing better lately, but Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big
tough
delay
one.
in that game. I was sitting there watching. I was like, why is this game all the games are over? It's in the third quarter.
Yeah,
We started watching it, and yeah, it was hideous. Like Trubisky is not the answer if it's not Cody. Like they both who's their third string quarterback? They gotta have
Pittsburgh
somebody.
needs a quarterback bad. But they just drafted Pickett.
Yeah.
Dude, he's done.
He's done. But hey,
I can't.
Cardinals are 2-2 in the
that.
last 4 games.
Cardinals might be that team. And then, of course, Denver, Houston. That was a pretty good game. And then Denver throws an interception in the end zone.
Unlimited.
Tampa Bay, Carolina, really boring. The Rams beating up on Cleveland. It was in LA though, so
The Rams are sputtering. I mean, when you're bringing back Joe Flacco, when you're digging up Joe Flacco to play quarterback for you, this isn't 2013. Dude. I mean, it was 10 years ago.
Dude, I think it's awesome, dude, that Joe Flacco is.
It is.
Playing.
I kind of held out a little hope. I was like, you know what? He might have something left in the tank. Oh no!
Oh, when the first drive they went down, they scored. You go up 7-0. You're like, here comes Joe Flacco.
Flacco's back. No, Flacco's
but so here's some of the big games. So let's talk about these real quick. San Francisco, Philly was obviously game of the week, and San Francisco just destroyed them. I mean, not just with the score, but after like the first half of the first quarter, it was just all downhill for
It
Philly.
was Debo, McCaffrey. Oh, you're gonna key on McCaffrey. We'll give it to Debo. You're gonna, vice versa. It was like, and then receivers. I mean, it seemed like everybody was open. It was bizarre.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I'm the biggest idiot. How did I even think this was gonna? I mean,
well, I look at it this way. Let's hold the brakes here. It's just one game.
Yeah.
And if you look at who the Eagles had to play the last few weeks, right?
Yeah, they're kind of what did Detroit say for Thanksgiving game? They said this is a stupid excuse. We were tired. And so it's almost like the Eagles, the exhaustion of playing the Bills, in a long game. It's like mentally, I could see them just kind of like, all right, we're just, But I think the Niners.
Well, I mean, think about it. They played the Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers all in a row.
Right. Yeah. And then they played Miami not too long before that too, right?
Yeah, but they had the Commanders and then Miami.
Yeah.
But their defense, though, I mean, they did pick up Leonard this week, but their defense is like in 24. They're ranked right now. Their defense isn't playing that well. But that can go that's 16-24. I mean, it's all about what Jalen Hurts is going to do.
But San Francisco,
he got hurt too.
The 49ers, though, they're a different beast when they're healthy, completely healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Ayuk is playing this year is dangerous because now that frees up Debo and Kittle to play, one-on-one with people, and that's tough. And so that makes them really hard. And I hate to say this, but if Brock Purdy could actually, stay at the 70% completion he's throwing right now, they're going to be hard to beat.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many layers. You got Ayuk,
right?
And their receivers they got some targets, and so they're just layering teams. Like, oh, you're going to take away this layer, then we'll peel back.
Right.
It's just like, and then if all else fails, oh, we do have this McCaffrey guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it's kind of scary the way their offense can be a well-oiled machine. Just they're just going to carve defenses if they play like that.
And then of course Green Bay beating Kansas City. It was at home, right? Green Bay at home. I know this person doesn't know what they're talking about, but somebody's like, "Oh, we have another MVP quarterback in Jordan Love."
Whoa.
I was like, yeah, no. But
I will say he's playing better.
Nice couple of games. He's played good. I like the way they're playing because it's kind of it's like watching a little bit of the 90s Packers. We're going to run the football, and we're just going to throw it down the field. And Christian Watson is playing good.
Well, he's fast.
He's hurt now, though.
Fast. And you know what? His hands have it's improved. He's catching the back of the end zone. They play like that. You know what? They could do some damage in the playoffs. They're playing really defensively.
Kansas City also is showing some weakness too. I think the longer it's later in the season, but then Mahomes tends to start playing better. But I think their lack of depth is going to show the later in the season Kansas City goes. And depth at skill, right, with a lot of skill. I'm sure they have plenty of players to back up other players, but they just don't have they're not deep in the skill.
And you see, he's kind of, I've never really seen him too indecisive. Seems like he's sitting there and he's waiting for guys to get open besides Kelsey.
Well, he doesn't want to throw it.
Kelsey, he's looking at everybody else and no one's getting open. And that's going to spell trouble for them, why they might not do much in the playoffs, because they play like that. And Green Bay's no world beaters on defense. They're decent in the front seven, but the back end, you can't get guys open. You can't. Where's Rice? I mean, you're throwing Hail Marys to Kelsey in the end zone. He jumped like 2 feet off the ground trying to catch the Hail Mary. It's like, you just draft this guy in the second round. Where's this guy? Where's Rice on a Hail Mary? It's like,
what are you going to throw to, like Kadarius Toney or Scamley?
Yeah.
Don't throw it to Stone Hands.
Pacheco, 9.
Dude, he's literally Stone Hands, man. Have you seen the compilation of his drops since Green Bay? This dude's running down the field multiple to just the ball's just hitting him off the hands, dude.
You just got to throw it into his face mask.
Nice catch.
Crazy. So yeah, big loss though for Kansas City. So that drops them to 8-4. Then Jacksonville takes a big loss on Monday night to Cincinnati. And now they're talking about how Browning is awesome.
He had a good game. And I wish we had a Browning on our team. I wish the Raiders had Browning. I mean, I like him as a backup, but let's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
It's one game. And Jacksonville's defense.
He figured it out, though. Let's just throw to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that guy's kind of
Let's
good.
throw it to that Jamar Chase and then T. Higgins. Jamar Chase was making some catches.
Yeah.
That catch at the end of the game, not too many dudes in the NFL can make that catch. That's just stupid.
And he had lots of yards after the catch, too.
Yeah, he had some yak. Yeah,
Well, he's
it makes
really
your job
good.
a little easier.
He's really good with the ball after he catches it. He's had a lot of yak, like long touchdowns with yak yards, dude. When he's like catches it on slants and goes for 70. So he's brutal.
I love that slant route. When he runs a slant and he catches it, you're like, it could go. He can go to the house.
Yeah.
It seems like he's ready to go to the house.
But so big games now, because Philadelphia, they've gone to 10-2 and Dallas is 9-3, right? So that closed the gap there. And put San Francisco and Detroit back in, at 9-3, making them very viable for that bye week. And then Kansas City, like I said, they dropped down because now you got Baltimore and Miami both at 9-3 now too. So it was a tough week for those teams because you only got, we got 4 weeks left, right? Yeah, 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, or 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Yeah, so we got 5 games.
The AFC looks like a muddled mess. And I think it's going to get messier because you got Buffalo, KC, and a lot's going to be determined. Buffalo's basically future, whether they can make the playoffs, really rides on a game like this.
Well, Buffalo, they're 6-6. They're not having a great year, obviously, but look, you got 4 teams at 7-5, and 3 teams at 6-6.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, all you got to do is win, 3 of your last 5 games, and you're in
that stretch they do play the Colts.
Yeah.
So
I think the NFC is a little bit easier, when you look at that. Although there's going to be that last couple wild card spots that, who knows who get those, but you've got, Philly, Dallas, Detroit, San Francisco, and then whoever's going to come out of the South. Like those, it's a lock right there.
Are we going to have another team from the South have a losing record this year?
Yeah.
Dude, the South is hideous.
I can't remember who the announcer was, but he was arguing the fact that Carolina one year went in with a losing record and won a playoff game. And he's like, it can happen, teams can have momentum playing in this division where they're, with these losing records. And I know people want to complain about a losing record getting into the playoffs, but you never know what kind of momentum they can have. And I'm just like, dude, get out of here.
Well, didn't
Beast Mode. That was Beast Mode, man.
Yeah, the Seahawks had a losing record, but they hosted the game.
Yeah, they
right, because they were the division winner.
Yeah,
but
7-9.
Look at the Giants. I didn't really have a losing record, but they were like 9-7 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They win the Super Bowl.
If it's 6-10, I don't think they should be allowed to be in there. If you're 6-10, it's like, sorry, you can just stay home.
Well, now you'd be 6-11, right?
6, yeah.
It's even worse.
10.
Well, don't worry, Wes. As of right now, the Falcons then can't, if they don't win another game, they'll be 6-11.
Right.
They just need to win one more, and then you won't have to worry about that.
They can go 7-10.
Yeah.
which sounds really bad.
It does.
All right, well let's get into week 14 picks here. Picks. Man, okay. Well, Wes goes another game up. So we got some ground. We got 5 weeks to make it up. All right, so let's see here. Game 1, New England at Pittsburgh. Wes, why don't you start us off?
What a Thursday night thriller that's going to be. The barn burner, the way that Patriots are playing.
2-0.
I don't even, I guess I'm going to roll with Mitchell Trubisky, I guess. Who else am I going to roll with? I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Najee Harris. And I think you're going to get nothing from the Patriots, but dysfunction on offense. I'm taking the Steelers by 10, 16-6.
I don't even know if Patriots will score 6. But yeah, I agree. Pittsburgh by 10. Just defensively, I think Pittsburgh will win this game.
Who's going to play quarterback? Is it going to be Zappy?
You might, yeah. Oh, for New England,
Yeah. Who? I mean,
he might as well play for Pittsburgh.
yeah, it's like, congratulations, you get to go up against TJ Watt.
Yeah, it's gonna be but I mean you never know with Pittsburgh though is the problem. That's the problem I've had with them all season. It's like they get on a roll, they start winning games, like, oh yeah, Pittsburgh, I'm gonna take them this week. And then they lose to Arizona.
If I was the Patriots, I'd just do Wildcat the whole game.
Right?
I would just interchange a different Wildcat quarterback.
That's a good idea.
It'd probably be better.
But regardless, Pittsburgh defense is too tough. So no chance.
Oh no, Derek. Oh no.
No, I was thinking about it today.
Oh,
but the problem was Stevenson is out. He's not playing. So that really hinders because Connor put up like 130 yards on the Steelers.
Right.
So I was thinking about the running game, but without Stevenson there, I'm not thinking Ezekiel Elliott's going to do it. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win 3-0.
3-0. Is that cover?
Why not 2?
No, it doesn't. The spread is 6.
I like 2-0 better.
Yeah.
I really thought the Falcons-Jets game was going to be 2-0.
I know, man. It looked like it was going to be.
You know what it looked like? It looked like Bijan was going to be the butt fumble. He bounced in the same way backwards. I was like, is that a butt fumble?
He's going to fumble in his own end zone.
Oh,
well, speaking of Bijan, we got Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Gosh, I don't know why I can't pick Atlanta. So I'm going to pick Tampa Bay. I don't know. Atlanta looked so bad last week against the Jets, but the Jets defense is solid. But I think Tampa Bay has more offense. I think they outscore them. I think Tampa outscores Atlanta here, but still a close game and wins by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Steve. Falcons are favored by 2.5, but I don't trust Arthur Smith at all. And I'll say, like I say every week, you have Bijan Robinson, you have Pitts, you have Drake London, and you don't give him the ball. Really? So, yeah, I can't take the Falcons. I got to take the Bucks here. Because like Steve said with the Bucks, how do they keep winning? How do they win games? But I'm taking Baker.
They got Mike Evans, dude. That's what they got,
You know what the travesty is I have the all Atlanta Falcons team. I mean, I got Bijan, I got rid of London, but I had London. I had Pitts, he gave me nothing. I've been able to pick up Desmond Ridder and bench Stroud.
There you go.
And that's why I'm going to pick the Bucks because I totally agree. They are giving me nothing.
Yeah.
My season is over because of the Falcons. So I'm taking the Bucks by 4.
Man, I thought somebody would take Atlanta there.
No, I'm
At
mad.
home too. But that's the
They can
problem.
play in space, and I take the Bucks.
Taking space. Let's see. Detroit at Chicago, Derek.
Well, I know Chicago beat them, but I don't think they can beat them both times. So I got to take Detroit here, even though it's on the road. But I think the Lions win by 6. It keeps it close. The Bears keep it close. They're coming off a bye, so. But I got to go with the Lions here. It's going to be one of those where the Bears are playing really well, and you think they're going to win, and then all of a sudden at the very end they do something stupid and lose, so they can get the good draft pick.
It kind of looks like that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. They're like, get Steve's hopes up, and then we're like, oh no.
They're like, look, we can win if we want.
Yeah.
We're just not going to.
Right.
What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, I get the Lions too. I don't think they're going to blow the doors off the Bears. I think it will be fairly close. I say the Lions by 8.
Yeah, I hate to agree, but I agree. Actually, I think Derek's diagnosis of the game is exactly what's going to happen. Bears are going to play well for a while, and then middle third quarter, early fourth quarter, they just stop playing, and Detroit will score a couple touchdowns, take the lead back, and win the game.
They run screenplay 20 times in a row.
Right, and just punt it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So I think Detroit by 7. Let's see. Here's an interesting game. Indiana, the Colts at the Bengals. Wes.
Colts at the Bengals. Uncle Rico. How can I bet against Uncle Rico?
I don't think
I'm going to though.
Okay.
Because I think that Browning's playing good enough, and with those weapons, Mixon balled last week. I think this carries them a little here. They might have some hope for the playoffs, weirdly, strangely. But I'm taking the Bengals by 3.
I mean, they are technically. I mean, they're in it, right? I mean, they're 6-6, so it's not like they're not far off of one of those last 3 spots. So I think at Cincinnati, I got to go with the Bengals as well. As long as with Browning, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He just has to get it in the hands of the right guys when they're open. It's not rocket science for him. He just can't make mistakes. So if he can limit his turnovers and not throw any interceptions, I think
he looks comfortable in that offense, and that's the thing I like. He looks comfortable. He knows where he wants to go with the ball.
Well, I was reading an article about that, because it was actually kind of a Luke Getsy like attack. They're making him look bad, but they're talking about how Cincinnati's coordinator, he came out and he threw some short passes and some screens. Why? To get comfortable, to then move to mid-range throws, and move it around, not to throw 20 screens a game, or 20 hitches, and things like that. And they were just kind of knocking on that and say that's how a real offensive coordinator adjusts to his players. You find out what you got. You throw some short passes, you get them confidence, find the areas of where they can throw the ball. And I think their offensive coordinator did a good job of that, and hopefully you'll continue.
Yeah, it's just no different than like in basketball when they feed a guy early to get him going, right? And it's like you get him plays for easy shots. Well, that's the same thing. But like you said, start out easy, but you don't continue doing the same throws over a year.
Right.
Yeah, the Colts are favored by 1 on the road, which I don't understand because the Colts, I feel like, are an okay team, but they play better at home than on the road.
Right.
So I'm going to take the Bengals here by 7.
Yeah, I think being a home game for Cincinnati was the difference maker there. This one's tough. Jacksonville at Cleveland, because it's at Cleveland, and Cleveland plays better at home for sure. Their defense is strong, but I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to play is the problem.
He's not going to play. He's got
So
high brain. I seriously doubt he plays.
I'm going to go with Cleveland on the fact that I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to play. Now, if Trevor Lawrence ends up playing, I'll probably lose out on that one. I may lose out on it anyway, but I think run it back with Joe Flacco. He's now going to be a little more comfortable, and you have the defense to support it, right? Play safe, use your defense, and I think you at home. I think they beat Jacksonville in a close one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. Exactly that. I think we don't know what's going on with Lawrence, but like I said, a high ankle sprain. I think that's at least 2 weeks. So I got to take the Browns here. Plus, you don't want, even if Trevor Lawrence does come back, that's not the right defense to come back on a high ankle sprain. Because
Yeah, you don't.
you got to think about the playoffs.
Yep.
So you got to rest him for a few weeks. And then it comes to, I'm just thinking, why didn't the Jets contact Joe Flacco?
Right. Wasn't he there once already though?
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
it's
thought
like
they had like a bad ending
turmoil.
with him. I thought there was like some kind of like he had some problem with upper management.
Oh, well, they should have decided to be nice to him because
They could
what they
use
got
him.
instead is garbage.
But this isn't a big game. This is an important game for Jacksonville, really, though. Because they lose this game, they go to 8-5, and let's say Indy does win or Houston wins, now you're tied for the division lead.
Right.
yeah.
But if you do play Lawrence and he gets season-ending injury,
Right.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
play now.
That's tough. What do you got, Wes?
Well, I'm assuming that CJ Beathard from I don't even know where he's from.
Iowa.
Iowa.
From Idaho.
Iowa.
Oh, same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna take Cleveland. I think their defense is going to rule the day. Let's put it that way. So got Cleveland by 6.
Oh man, no swings yet. Let's see. Carolina at New Orleans. What do you got there, Derek?
If it was any other team, I'd be taking them instead of the Saints. But since it's the Panthers, I got to take the Saints here. But I have no confidence in the Saints whatsoever. But it's the Panthers, so I'm gonna have to take the Saints.
Yeah, at home, it's tough.
Yeah, I
Doing math on this one.
her on that because they're not the Aints anymore. They're the INTs. They've graduated to the INTs.
All right.
Because I just don't understand how you have a plethora of things. You have tools. Are they weapons? Maybe they're not weapons anymore, but they're tools and you don't use them like the Falcons. Something about that division. It's like we don't want to use our weapons.
Right.
Playing boring football so everyone can not come to the game. I don't even understand why people go to the game. But I'm gonna take the Saints by 10.
Well, look what happened last week's game. They got down. They were playing horrible. Then they started using Kamara.
Yeah.
Kamara goes out and scores and gets yardage. And I mean, I don't know how you can't pick the Saints because it's Carolina. And I know Carolina's not horrible. They're getting better, but they're still pretty bad. So if New Orleans can't lose this game. You're at home. against Carolina, I don't see how you could lose this game. So I have to go with the INTs. Even who knows how many they'll throw, but let's see. All right, Wes, Houston at the Jets.
Oh, this is a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, the
The
Jets,
Jets.
the Jets, they're just melting down. Like, just it's just a meltdown. That whole organization, what a disaster. I'm taking the Texans not even because of the Texans, because the Jets are pathetic. And
Yeah,
Houston wins by 15.
15, huh? Yeah, the Jets have lost 5 in a row. Um, to some pretty not very good teams. I mean, I guess they lost to Miami and Buffalo, but
Oh, who's gonna play quarterback? It doesn't matter. I mean, they could just have an open tryout and it wouldn't matter.
yeah, I mean, Houston, they've definitely been up and down. And the Jets do have a good secondary, at least good enough. It's not the greatest, but it's a good secondary. And that's Houston's strength. Houston's got to run the ball, not turn the ball over. But the problem is the Jets just can't score, and you can't win if you don't score. So I got to take Houston as well. Okay, yeah, I mean Houston by 6.
Yeah, let's see so that would cover because Texans are favored by 5.5. I kind of agree. I think Houston by 6. I'm not going higher than that because the Jets still have a really good defense. And CJ Stroud is still a rookie. And with Sauce Gardner and was it DJ Reed, they have 2 really good corners out there.
Yeah.
So Stroud's got to play a smart game, not try and throw for 500 yards this game.
Yeah, he definitely get him in trouble if he's slinging it too much. He does like to try to throw into those little windows. That can definitely hurt him. Let's see. The Rams at Baltimore. I got Baltimore here at home. Even though the Rams are dangerous, kind of showed it last week. But Baltimore, I think they're coming off a bye, so they should be ready for this game. And so I can't see them losing to the Rams at home. So I'm going to take Baltimore by 10.
Yeah, I agree. Baltimore by 10. They're coming off, like you said, they come off a bye. I just think they're a better team than the Rams right now. So got the Ravens.
And I got Baltimore by 5. Maybe a little closer.
A little bit closer, huh? Yeah, I think Harbaugh's good coach. Come off the bye, he should be able to handle this game. So let's see. Oh, here you go. You guys are up. What you got here, Derek? Minnesota at Las Vegas.
Vikings are favored by 3. Justin Jefferson's coming back, but not so fast because I got the Raiders at home because it's the Vikings aren't that good. And they're playing on the road. So I always go with the home team when they're about even. So I'm going with the Raiders by 3.
Vegas at home.
Yeah, the Chicago game, let's just say it let a lot of air out of their ship. I mean, that was bad.
That was bad.
That was some bad football. That's why I give a little bit more than hope that the Raiders will find a way to win ugly, because I think it's going to get ugly in this game. I see Mad Max coming out mad. I'll take the Raiders by 3.
Yeah, this is a tough one. You just don't know the kind of impact Justin Jefferson will have. But I'm gonna go swing on this one. So I'm gonna, even though they're on the road, I think it's gonna be a real close game. I just don't fully know if the Raiders. You know, it's hard with a rookie quarterback in there. So I'm gonna have to go with Minnesota here in a real close game. Got them by a late field goal, but I think the Raiders could easily win this game too. So this was probably one of the harder ones of the week. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe I'll get a game back on you guys, or I'll go another one down. What's it matter? Let's see. Seattle at San Francisco. Wes.
San Francisco. I'm taking San Francisco here. I think it'll be close early, late. I think they open it up. Take them by 13.
Yeah, I got them by 14. I think I think you're right. It's gonna be an attrition game for San Francisco where they're just gonna keep gaining momentum at home. The longer the game goes, the more they go up. And Seattle will just eventually fade away. I think you got to take the 49ers here.
Yeah. Yeah, 49ers are favored by 10.5. They won by 18 on Thanksgiving just 2 weeks ago. So, and now they're at home.
Right.
So I got the 49ers won by 14. The Seahawks, I don't know if they win another game.
No, I mean they're lost 3 in a row. They got to play Philadelphia, Tennessee, and well, they do play Arizona.
Then Arizona already. Well, no, the Seahawks beat them, but that was with a different quarterback.
I think they might be able to win the Titans game.
See, though, the Titans and the Cardinals are both on the road. That's where they might not win those.
Right. They're not great. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, they definitely have a tough schedule to finish, especially with those road games. Might be rough in Seahawk land here. 6-11.
Who knows? Still might make the playoffs.
Right. Let's see. Buffalo, Kansas City. This is an interesting game. So I went back and forth on this for a while. Kansas City's at home, and you almost like defaulting to Kansas City here, but at some point Buffalo has to realize that if they don't win a game, their season's over, right? So this has to be that game for them. I don't care if you're on the road. Kansas City hasn't looked strong lately. Buffalo is a must win. So I'm going to take Buffalo here. I'm going to give Buffalo by a touchdown.
Since firing Dorsey, the Bills scored 32 points and 34 points in those 2 games. So, yeah, I'm taking the Bills here. Josh Allen isn't afraid of Arrowhead or Geha now Stadium, whatever it's called. And they're coming off, right? They're coming off a bye. So I'm going to give it to the Bills. Wes is falling asleep.
Meditating.
I'm in deep thought for this game. Actually not, because I'm taking the Bills out of desperation, because they are desperate. And when a team's desperate and you're as talented as the Bills, you should win this game. I don't care where you're playing. The Chiefs don't look good. I think they need to give the ball more to Cook. Yeah, I think they found a formula there. Take a little bit of the pressure off of Josh. I think they find a way to win. They win by 4.
Wow. Everybody's against Kansas City. Oh, here's the game of the week. Denver at the Chargers. What do you got, Derek?
Well, you already know who I got. I got the Chargers here.
Oh yeah.
I haven't like everyone, it's just I get so sick of the national media because they get these flavors of the week all the time, and then they like, oh, just and then they go way off the deep end. And last week it was the Broncos are so good. Da, da, da. No, they're not. They are who they thought they were. So I'm taking the Chargers by 3 here.
You know why that is? Because the media gave life back to Russell Inc.
Yeah.
They gave it CPR. It was dead. Sierra breath life back into Russell Inc. for a moment. And it's all going to come to a crashing end right here when they lose to a team which the coach should not even be coaching. And I think the Chargers win handily in this, taking the Chargers by 10.
I mean, I don't know how you go into New England and win 6-0 and come out a 10-point favorite the next week on Denver. It is in LA though, so although I don't know that matters because they don't really have a home. But I'm going swing game on this one.
Oh,
I don't
the
like the
Broncos,
Chargers right now. The Chargers for me are the biggest underachievers for the last how many years, and this is just another chance for them to underachieve. And I got Denver winning this game. I think Denver's playing better than the Chargers. I'm not saying they're great. I just don't think the Chargers are playing well either. So I have a hard time picking the Chargers here. So I'm gonna give a swing game here. I'm gonna take Denver in a close one.
You're living and dying with Denver here, Steve.
I know, man, and I need them. Need them this week.
Someone Raider person told me today that people call them the donkeys. That I haven't heard of it.
For the Broncos, yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's
How
what
do I
they
not
they
know
call
that?
them the donkeys, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's like a horse, but not, I mean,
They called him a donkey. I was like, what? I was like, oh.
Yeah, that is a thing.
There's a thing.
That's funny.
Well, we're rooting for the donkeys this week. Let's go donkeys. All right. Big game here, Wes. Philadelphia at Dallas.
Oh God. Do I even have to pick this game? Oh,
This is the hardest of the week, I
how
think.
can I do this? I don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this first? No, I can't. I'm going with the Eagles. Can't do it.
He was about to pick the Cowboys.
I almost did it. It was like it was pulling me. I was like, can't do it. I cut it off at the ankles. Done. Eagles win overtime. 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, I am gonna do it.
Wow.
The Eagles have a little bit of circling of the wagons to do, and I think they're gonna realize it once they lose this game. Because I mean, they yes, they've won some good games and they had a good record, have a great record, but they have not played like a 10 and or a 9-1 team went before they lost, right? When they had one loss. They haven't played their games like that up to that point. They were sliding by too much. And I think Brandon Graham said it the best for them. He's like, I'm glad, we got whooped because there is a lot that we need to work on. And I think there is. And I think Dallas is their chance to grab a hold of the division. If they win, they at least tie record wise. So this is their chance. Now, that might be the worst thing for Dallas, but it is Sunday night. They could definitely choke it out, but I'm gonna go with Dallas here.
Oh man. Oh.
Not so fast, Steve. We gotta go Eagles here because you know why? Because now you got the national media. Okay, the Eagles are still the number 1 seed, right? And national media has them ranked below the Cowboys.
Right.
Why? What have the Cowboys done that, I mean, this is what happens every year. Everyone gets their hopes up. Oh, the Cowboys, they look so good. The Cowboys. Oh, yeah, you know what? Jalen Hurts is going to throw at Bland 1,000 times, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to have like 500 yards.
Yeah, and their
So
defense.
I'm taking the Eagles here, and I'm going to take
It's
them by 10.
possible Hurts could not play too. So
Hurts is going to
Doesn't
play.
matter. Got Marcus Mariota coming off the
Right.
bench. Heisman.
no, and Dallas. I hate the Dallas hype. I heard even Skip Bayless, who's the worst analyst
gosh.
ever, talking about how Dallas is going to win a Super Bowl this year.
Oh my God. Skip.
And it's kind of mind numbing.
It is.
And I don't, like I said, I'm not picking Dallas here because I'm hoping to get a game back. I am hoping to get a game back. But what I'm really picking Dallas here is because I really think it's not a Dallas being good. I think it's a Philly has things that they need to work out. And maybe they come out with a better game plan. Maybe they work it out. But I don't know. How are they going to win without their head of security? He's gone now.
They're on the road, so they don't need him.
Yeah. Does he get a 1-game suspension for that?
I don't even know what happened with him.
That is so hideous.
Hilarious.
I saw that. I was like, I wish I could unsee this. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I mean, maybe like I said, maybe it just takes them a week to figure it out. But watching them in the last few games, just especially this last game, they look a bit out of sorts. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tennessee at Miami. There's 2 Monday Night Football games, huh?
Yeah. At the same time.
Same time. That's smart.
3rd time they've done that this year. It's like, great. Thanks. And what games we've got.
Right. What games I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. Miami's just a juggernaut right now. Tennessee, I guess if they played smart, and ran Henry 30 times and kept the ball out of Miami's hands, maybe they'd have a chance here, but I just don't see Miami at home losing this game. I think they win by a lot. I'm going to take them by 2 touchdowns, maybe more.
Yeah. I don't even know if Henry's playing. He's hurt.
Well, that's right. He did get hurt at the end of the last game.
I got the Dolphins winning by 21. Boat racing them.
Yeah.
But Levis, man.
Yeah.
I think it's twilight time is happening to the Titans and that whole regime.
Yeah.
It looks like a dying brand. And I think the Dolphins just could put a nail into that with Tyreek. I think he has another big game. I think they run the ball more. And they win easily by 17.
Problem with the Dolphins is they keep getting up by so much, and then they stop giving the ball to Tyreek, and they stop scoring touchdowns.
Well, they can't because he's got to win MVP so I can win $3,000.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, that's why you got Mozart also.
Right. Well, yeah. But they said they give it to A-Chain. Did you see him do on 4th and 2, give the ball to A-Chain for the touchdown late in the game?
I needed that.
I was like, man, what are you doing, dude?
Brutal.
But yeah, that's what happens. It's like they get it by so much, and then they back off, and there was Tyreek would go for 50 points every game. Yeah. And then this, I guess nobody's watching this game. Green Bay at the Giants.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch this.
No, watch TD, man.
Yeah.
He's the ball.
TD touchdown. Tommy.
AL. Gel. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, JL. What do you got, Derek? Green Bay at the Giants.
I got the Packers by 7. Yeah, I don't know how only people are watching this are in Green Bay and New York.
Right. Yeah, what do you got, Wes?
Or they'll switch over at halftime when the Dolphins are up by 28.
Right.
Yeah, I think the pack is gonna sack TD a lot, and the Packers boat race them. I said they win by 20.
This is interesting. I think I'm gonna have to pick the Packers, but I think this will be a close game. I think both of these teams are like neither of them are really good, but they're reaching like what they can do well at the same time. And touchdown Tommy TD, like he said, he's not playing bad. I don't know. I just
We are
don't believe
totally
in Green Bay.
overhyping TD here, but it's funny. I'm just saying it's
I
kind of a
don't
thing.
believe in Green Bay yet, but I have to pick him here just because like the Giants have just been so bad this year. So it's
The
hard to pick
Giants.
the Giants. It really
I
is.
mean, they they only beat the Packers by Patriots by 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
So I'm gonna stick with Green Bay here. I'd like to try to gain another game, but I just don't think that the Giants can win.
you might regret that one. Like that. It's not like they're playing in New York here. They just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right. Well, a couple swing games there. We got Minnesota. We got
Against us.
yeah. You guys have the same picks all the way
Yeah.
through. So Wes, Derek, you're not gaining any ground on Wes
Playing defense.
playing defense.
Playing prevent defense here.
They call that hedging your bets, right?
No, the Eagles, I don't care.
Yeah.
Me
That's
and Derek, I think me and Derek kind of seeing here, like I think the hype, the balloon gets popped.
yeah, I can see it. Like I said,
I think the D line is gonna emerge for the Eagles.
for
And I
Philly,
think
yeah.
hurt on Mr. Prescott.
Well, he is going to be MVP according to all
I
the
want to hear it
sports
because
analysts.
that guy wins MVP over
And then
guy.
Wes loses his
Tyreek,
bet.
I
Oh
lose
man,
$3,000 because of Dak Prescott. I'm done.
he's going to
Done.
be at Dak Prescott's
If
house,
I lose, I don't
banging on the
care
gate.
Mahomes, fuck anybody. Josh Allen. If I lose to Dak Prescott, done.
Yeah, I could see it, dude. I could see it.
Well, how many receivers have won MVP?
I don't care. It's the cheetah. He's gonna blow past 2,000 yards.
He might.
He is.
I think McDaniel is the kind of coach that will want him to get that.
Yeah. He might start running some end arounds and getting some rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
Like,
he's like,
deal.
maybe he'll even throw a few.
Do this for Fresh West, and we're gonna seal the deal. Get him the ball in the backfield.
He might let
Return kick.
throw it, dude.
Return some kicks.
All right, well let's wrap up here with some HSC podcast fantasy football.
God.
This is worse than the college playoffs. What we're about to go into here. We have 3 8-5s and 3 7-6s, and only 2 people get to go.
I know.
And schedule wise, so Derek's the most favorable, but you need somebody to lose. So you need
you have two 8-5s playing each other.
Right. So there you go. So there's one that loses for sure. And then I'm playing Big Mike, which that doesn't bode well. the guy that doesn't play and wins every game.
It's going to come down to points.
And then Team John, who's he playing?
He's playing Order of Cortland.
Oh.
So that's the 2 8 and 5s.
Oh, that's the 2 8 and 5s. Okay, yeah. Okay. So then who's Wes playing?
Wes is playing Josh.
And then Team
Night
Knight
is playing Legion of Boom. So
he
he actually has the easiest game.
Yeah, so what you gotta hope is he doesn't score a lot of points.
Right.
Because
well,
one of the
what I'm looking
8-5s,
for is I need you to lose, and then
West. Well, I guess West doesn't have the points to beat you though.
No. Yeah, basically,
you just
whoever loses the Team John Order game is out.
Right. So there's already 2 in. So one of those is in guaranteed.
Yeah, one of those is out, and then it will be so 2. So if you lose, it will be a 5-way tie,
right,
for 8 and 6, and then it will be 2 of those teams
can go. Right, and then like I said, Team Knight's probably going to win, and then he's right with you at points. So if he scores more points than you, he's in. So that means you got the 8 and 5 that's going to be in no matter, or the 9 and 5 in no matter what between those two. Big Mike's already in there. Team Knight's probably going to be in.
Right.
So like I said, you really just need me to lose. Is what you need.
Well, I only have a 25-point lead on you.
Right. So if I outscore you by 20, I'm still in.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I have to win and then put up a lot of points.
A lot of points. Right. And then so Wes, you need to win. And you need me to lose.
And me to lose.
And Derek to lose.
Because I lost to Team Awesome. Dude, I lost to Team Awesome.
So did Steve.
Oh, I mean, it happens, dude.
I mean, saw that. I was like, are you kidding me?
But here's the worst part about losing to Team Awesome is that this may have put you out of the playoffs.
Exactly.
Because without me losing, because you need me to lose, you need Derek to lose, and you probably need Team Knight to lose because he's got more points too.
I rename my team Team Falcon, like just Team Falcon.
Oh, well, man. I didn't notice this before this year, but they're on the far right. They have the playoff percent, like
right, yeah, percentages. Mm-hmm.
Like 3 weeks ago, I was at 4%.
Yeah, now you got 50% almost.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm at 80% though.
Yeah, because, well, I don't know why. That is weird. Because if you lose,
yeah.
Well, they have Team John at 63%, but I think he's probably going to lose.
Yeah. So maybe
Wes is at 14%.
Oh no, dude.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's not a chance.
You still got a chance, Wes.
That sealed the deal.
Hey, if everybody loses, you're in.
I lose to Team Awesome.
Yep.
Team Knight loses to Legion of Boom.
That'd be even better, dude. If
we're just
Team Awesome put Wes out and then put you out the next week.
That's the giant killers.
No, what would be awesome is if Team Awesome wins, then Wes is out, I'm out, and then you lose your game and you're out because you lost to Team Awesome a few weeks ago.
Awesome.
Then it'd be because then you have Mike, Big Mike, you have Team Knight, you have Order in the Cortland. No, you'd still we couldn't all lose.
Well, yeah, because Team John would be, or
no, because he has to. One of them has to lose. He didn't be 8 and 6. He'd be the same record as me, and I have more points.
No, so then Wes would get in. Oh wait, you're 8 and 5, right?
Yeah,
that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much. That's why you have a higher percent, because it's only if me and Team Knight win and have more points than you.
Yeah.
And you lose. If you
And I
win, you're
lose.
up.
Right.
Just
Or
have to beat
I
Big
could
Mike.
lose and just score a lot too.
Yeah. You just got to beat Big Mike, Steve.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if beating Big Mike is an option, dude.
He's lost 3 games. Who has he lost to?
Me.
Yeah, because he had like 4 people on bye. Now he's got Jefferson coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jefferson's back. That's
How
gonna.
does he have Keenan Allen, AJ Brown, and Justin Jefferson?
That was our dumb. Oh, so Big Mike had lost to Team John. So he split that series. Order in the Cortland beat him by 2. Who's on bye that week? Oh, he only beat Team Awesome by 1 point.
Oh man. Oh, I remember that. That's when they didn't throw the it was like something where it was like Eckler didn't score a touchdown from the 1 or something. It was brutal.
Oh, right. And who was his last loss? It probably was Team Knight.
Yeah. Man, this is gonna be a brutal weekend,
No,
dude.
he crushed Team Knight. It was Wes. Wes beat Big Mike.
Well, I beat him because he didn't have Jefferson. I beat him like in the last game.
Yeah, he beat him by 11.
Yeah. I barely beat him.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, here it is. This is also HSC Podcast playoff week. See who's in, who's out.
Everybody that's listening is like, who the hell is Team Awesome?
Right.
Team Awesome.
Yeah, but you know what? It's Team Awesome is probably
Dude,
the
it's
only
gonna be
one
a
listening
thing.
to
We're
our
gonna get
podcast.
people talking about Team Awesome. What is Team Awesome?
Well, I might be, the first team in forever to go 0-3 to start a season and make the playoffs, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, you got a pretty good chance here.
Put that in the Jedi archives. Because the Jedi archives.
All right. Well, all I know is we can't let Mike Knight get another ring because I'll never hear the end of it. So,
Dude.
We can't let Big Mike win either.
yeah, I mean,
You
dude,
have to get a
if
break.
Big Mike doesn't draft his team, doesn't make a single change all year, and wins the league,
It's AI.
dude,
AI over his team.
I'm gonna be not happy. I'm doing it next year. I'm doing it next year. I'm just drafting a team, let the computer drafts, and not changing my team all year. I'll probably go like 1-12 or something like that. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. Any final thoughts? College football, NFL podcast.
Dude. Bowl mania. I don't care. I like there's a lot of bowl games I want to see besides the big ones.
I just wish there was more, and I actually like the off bowls better because I feel like they all play.
They all play. Yeah. There's some good matchups.
And I wish that we didn't have to deal with this, like who's not playing in the bowl game. Like I just feel like you never dealt with that before.
I like group of 5 teams. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is there's tons of 6-6 teams.
Right.
There's a couple.
And then Minnesota's 5-7.
How did Cal make a bowl game?
I know exactly. I was like, Cal's in a bowl?
Dude, Colorado doesn't make a bowl game, but Cal does.
Listen, man, it's trophies for everybody, right? So they're going to just keep putting in bowl games, so every team gets to play in a bowl game.
Dude, Colorado was last in the Pac-12.
Right.
I love the Shador Sanders commercials, like the coffee commercial. I just laugh when I see that. I go, "You guys are 4-8, dude."
Yeah. No, it's bad. And now they got players leaving Colorado and
Coaches.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I feel like now. It's like they're just gonna have so many bowls that everybody's gonna be in a bowl.
Oh yeah, they did win. Who did they?
Why not?
Who did
I do.
Who did Colorado beat in the Pac-12? Arizona
Arizona
State.
Oh, they lost Stanford. They lost Arizona State.
Was it? I think it
Yeah,
was
but
Arizona.
I think it had to be.
Yeah, it's Arizona State. Barely.
I agree. Like I love this time of year for college, um, and in football in general. Obviously, coming to the NFL playoffs right after that. So this is the best time of the year for football. That's for sure. Can't wait. Although, man, we're gonna all be watching. Well, maybe not Wes. I don't know. He kind of already gave up on his fantasy football season, but we're gonna be watching the ESPN tracker hard this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like Moneyball. I'm like Brad Pitt. I don't watch the game. I just
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
even
and Steve,
know what happens.
for Steve, it's going to be stress. We're all going to be stressful because Monday night is your Dolphins, and that's your
Right.
big points.
I know all my points are coming on Monday night. I hope. What I hope is that my team puts up a bunch of points before that, and then Tyreek comes just to lay on top.
What's going to happen is we're going to be neck and neck for points, and then it's Achan gets the touchdown and not Mozart.
Right. No, what'll happen is Tyreek will get hurt,
Oh,
and then
I don't need that because he's in my dynasty money league is my number one guy.
it'll
And we're
make
going to
my
playoffs next week.
my season official for injuries. Like I need one more just to finish off the season, just to let me know, like, hey, here's another injury for
First
you.
play of the game.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Watching on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like, leave a comment. Appreciate all the listens on Spotify. I haven't checked Apple Podcasts, but maybe people are listening on that too. Yeah, any comments, leave those in the comments. Happy to go over anything anybody wants to hear. We'll see you next time.